each other, waiting for something to happen. Night people hanging out, looking at each other, waiting for something to happen while the day world is sleeping. Night people creeping, hanging out, looking at each other. When the day world stop moving, night people start grooving, hanging out, looking for something to happen while the day world lay hanging. Night people start swinging, hanging out, looking for something to happen. Night people hanging out, looking at each other, waiting for something to happen. We can't have one kind without the other. We got to keep the world alive. If everybody went to sleep at the same time, every night, the world would die, die, die. Night people hanging out, looking at each other, waiting for something to happen. Night people are hanging out, looking at each other, waiting for something to happen while the day world sleep hardy. Night people party, are hanging out, looking at each other. When the day beats stop humming, night people start coming, hanging out, looking at each other. As the day world goes blind, night people doing fine, hanging out, looking for something to happen. Night people hanging out, looking at each other, waiting for something to happen. Night people are hanging out, looking at each other, waiting for something to happen. Got to see who's with who, who's with me, who's with you. Hanging out, looking at each other. Got to see what you're wearing, what you got, what you're sharing. Hanging out, looking at each other. Night people hanging out, looking at each other, waiting for something to happen. Night people hanging out, looking at each other, waiting for something to happen. Night people hanging out, looking at each other, waiting for something to happen. Night people sunrise and sunset. Since the beginning, it hasn't changed yet. Some people fly high, begin to lose sight It's your thing now, it's your thing. It pleases you. You got to frown when you cross town. Think it's an honor, girl, just to have you around. It's high time that you find the same dude you misuse on your way up. You might meet him on your way down. You think the sunrise and set for you, but the same sunrise and set and shine on the purple too. I don't mind you turning round. I myself would even like a little higher ground. Don't you talk about the lady. Don't you talk about her, please. Don't you talk about the lady. She once belonged to me. Don't you talk about the woman. No, no. She's got qualities that you can't see. Don't you talk about the lady. She once belonged to me. She's not just another woman. No, no, no. She almost abandoned my child. Yes, she did. She's not just another woman. No, no. But she only stayed a little while. Just like the sunshine in the morning, she lights up my day. Even though we both knew she was just passing through, Lord, how I tried to make her stay. She's not just another woman. No, no, no. She almost had my child. Yes, she did. She's not just another woman. No, no. But she only stayed a little while. Hey, please don't talk about the lady. She once belonged to me. Can't you see now? Hey, please don't say nothing about the woman. She's got qualities you can't see. Yes, sir, now. You got to wake up early in the morning. You got to stay up all night long. You still won't catch up, 'cause I got to want it. I got the feeling you wanna do me wrong. Like a ball of lightning and a bolt of heat, you wanna knock me right off my feet. But I recognize through the eye of a fool that you got the power to make your own.
Graduates, please be seated. The ceremony will start momentarily. Please find your seat. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Day. The spring 20... Let's try again. Thank you, Dr. Day. The spring 2021 commencement exercises were convened by Dr. Christine Day, Professor of Political Science and President of the Faculty Senate. Good afternoon. My name is John Niccolo, and I am very proud to serve as President of the University of New Orleans. And I'm very pleased to be with you this morning to celebrate our graduates and their loved ones. At this time, please rise for the singing of the National Anthem by Mr. Brian Wingard, a Master of Music in Jazz Studies graduate.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Brian. Please be seated. It is my pleasure to introduce you to today's platform guests. Please stand when I call your name. Dr. Tina Johnson, Associate Provost for Faculty and Diversity Affairs. Dr. Pan Kennett Hensel, Interim Dean of the College of Business Administration. Dr. Taskin Kochak, Dean of the College of Engineering. Dr. Kim Martin Long, Dean of the College of Liberal Arts, Education, and Human Development. Dr. Steve Johnson, Dean of the College of Sciences. Dr. Christine Day, Professor of Political Science and President of the Faculty Senate. Ms. Mimi Methvin, Member of the University of Louisiana System Board of Supervisors. Dr. Mahir Amuzagar, Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs. Dr. Matt Tarr, Vice President for Research and Economic Development. And Dr. Gloria Walker, Vice President for Business Affairs. Thank you. Candidates for degrees, faculty and staff of the University of New Orleans, parents and friends, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the spring. We'll just wait a second. I can hear myself. That's always a good sign. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the Spring 2021 University of New Orleans Commencement Ceremony. And we're delighted that you're with us today in beautiful UNO Lakefront Arena, sharing this highlight in the lives of our students, their families, and their friends. I'd also like to welcome all of those who are joining us this morning by way of live streaming. I'm happy that all of you could be part of today's celebration. Candidates for degrees, the the University of New Orleans is as proud of you as your family and friends are. Today's program marks the end of long years of rigorous academic training and the beginning of a transition to a different chapter in your lives. And I want you to think for a moment how different you are today than when you first arrived at the University of New Orleans. You've grown in so many ways through your determination to work hard and to achieve your degree. And I hope you all understand what I mean when I say education is transformational. You faced obstacles along the way. How do I know this? Because each of you has persevered through extraordinary circumstances of a worldwide pandemic. But with the help of family, friends, and supporters, you have succeeded, and you're prepared for whatever comes next. You've accepted the challenge, and the future is truly yours. So congratulations. And at this point, I'd like to recognize those people in your lives who've helped make this day possible. So I'm going to ask that all the parents and guardians of our graduates please stand and remain standing. And now I'd also like to ask all the grandparents, spouses, partners, siblings, children, and other relatives and friends, please also stand. Thank you. Please be seated. To all of our audience, today's event signifies the culmination of many years of your hard work, sacrifice, and self-denial, so that these graduates could be provided with the best education possible. So please, kindly accept my humble congratulations. And now I'd like to ask my colleagues in the faculty, as well as our staff who may be present, to please stand. You too have also played an essential role in the lives of these graduates. You've inspired, you've challenged, and you've supported, definitely supported, these talented students. And this day simply could not occur without you. And I'm confident that you've been able to spark in the members of the class of 2021 a lifelong love of learning. Thank you for your tireless commitment to your students and to the University of New Orleans each and every day. Thank you. And at this point, I'd like to draw your attention to cords or stoles that some of our graduates are wearing today. First off, would anybody graduating with a perfect 4.0 GPA please stand? Well done. Please be seated. Our student athletes are wearing royal blue and silver stoles. Would any student athletes please stand? And our veterans are wearing red, white, and blue cords today. Would all of our graduates who are military veterans please stand? In addition, would all of our faculty, staff, and audience members who are military veterans please stand as well? Thank you for your service. And now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce your commencement speaker, Dr. Raphael Casimir, Jr. Dr. Casimir is a trailblazing academic and civil rights leader who taught at the University of New Orleans for nearly 4 decades. In 1969, Dr. Casimir, who is now a professor emeritus of history, was the first black instructor hired by the university. His influence extends well beyond the classroom, though. He helped lead boycotts as president of the New Orleans NAACP Youth Council during the Civil Rights Movement. Dr. Casimir earned both a bachelor's and master's degree in history at the University of New Orleans, then called Louisiana State University in New Orleans, and a doctorate in history from Lehigh University in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. He taught courses on African American culture and history, early American history, Louisiana history, and U.S. constitutional history. Dr. Casimir is an author, book reviewer, researcher, and very sought-after speaker, panelist, and subject matter expert. In addition to serving as the president of the New Orleans NAACP Youth Council from 1960 to 1966, Dr. Casimir was secretary of the New Orleans branch of the NAACP, the chairman of the Southwest Regional branch of the NAACP, and an NAACP certified trainer since 1985. He also served 3 terms as chairman of the Vieux Carré Commission from 1983 to 1986. He has been honored with the ACLU's Benjamin E. Smith Liberties Award, the Louisiana NAACP's Lifetime Presidential Award, Omicron Delta Kappa UNO Circle's Living Legend Award, and the U.S. State Department's Outstanding Citizen Diplomacy Award. Prior to this ceremony, the university also presented Dr. Casimir with an honorary doctorate of humane letters for his extraordinary academic, scholarly, and humanitarian contributions to this university and to our city. So now it is my pleasure to invite Dr. Raphael Casimir to deliver the Class of 2021 Commencement Address.
Thank you, Mr. President, for your kind and generous introduction. Thank you also for the great job you are doing in restoring UNO's former preeminence. Let me also acknowledge the presence of all of the distinguished officials and members of the platform, administrators, faculty, family, and friends, but especially to all of the graduates. I've addressed high school and grade school commencements, but none is as challenging as addressing university graduates who encompass a wide cross-section of baccalaureates, but also master's and doctoral candidates. Often, the speaker will talk as if all of the graduates are baccalaureates in their early 20s, getting ready for their first professional careers, even though many of you are in your 30s, 40s, and beyond. Others of you are master's and doctorate candidates in mid-career. Sadly, this present pandemic prevents all of the individual candidates from sitting together as one class, but the class of 2021 is a conglomerate representing the arts, business, engineering, and sciences, both undergrads and graduate students. But it is still one class. Usually, commencement speakers and their speeches are soon forgotten. When I attended my first commencement 55 years ago, I most remember not the speaker, but my 93-year-old grandmother, Grandma. As usual, she was 2 hours early. As it turned out, this was her last public appearance. 2 months later, she was in heaven. Grandma was frail, but also proud to see her grandson graduate from this white university. You see, she had been born during Reconstruction. Early in her life, she witnessed exciting changes for members of her race. Black men, including former slaves, were elected to high offices. Her husband, father, and grandfathers had won the right to vote, sadly only to lose it by the end of the 19th century by voter suppression and violent attacks by hate groups. Unfortunately, she herself did not get to vote until she was 75. But Grandma always remained optimistic about the future. Even during the darkest days of racial segregation and subordination, she continually encouraged her children and grandchildren to look like somebody and act like somebody, and people will treat you like somebody. And if they don't, you demand that they do. She referred to UNO as white, and initially it was an all-white administration and faculty, including a few who were openly hostile. Black students were barred from the school cafeteria and all non-academic functions. But over the years, through student protests, including black and white, as well as some sympathetic faculty, UNO slowly, very slowly, became more racially diverse and more inclusive. However, not only was LSUNO completely white-dominated, but it was also white male-dominated. The only female administrator was an obvious choice, the Dean of Women. During the first decade, no woman headed an academic department, or college, or division. Throughout those early years, however, one thing united the campus, despite racial and ethnic differences: academic excellence. If you survived the horrific flunk-out race, many people considered you smart. Hence, most of the survivors were more than a little cocky. This sense of excellence created a sense of togetherness among most students. One of those early students was a recent financial benefactor, Henry Singer, who recalled, "My 19th century prejudices on racial and gender equality were challenged, and the fallacies of those views exposed. UNO prepared me and other students for success in a different world than that we were brought up in." Similarly, during my nearly half-century here, both as a student and a faculty member, I watched with satisfaction as UNO became more racially, gender, and culturally inclusive. We learned that often we, black and white, Christians and non-Christians, had more common similarities than differences. I was so surprised to learn that many, if not most New Orleanians, cook red beans on Mondays and chicken on Sunday. But on Saturday, you were on your own and had to hustle for seafood leftovers from Friday, if any. One of the things that we learned most was tolerance. We learned that we did not have to accept different beliefs, but tolerate them. We became more tolerant. As a result, we got along better with most people. I think above all, most of us learned, like Henry Singer, if we were open-minded, we could shed old prejudices and change old ways. However, we would have to change ourselves as well. Nelson Mandela, the great South African freedom fighter, was in prison for 27 years, only later to become president of a new and more inclusive nation, often observed, the hardest person for you to change is the same person looking back at you in the mirror. Change yourself, he cautioned. Then you could help change others. I'll let you in on a secret. Over the years, I've changed a lot. I don't see the same person looking back at me in the mirror that I saw 50 years ago. And now I have less black hair and added about 30 pounds. But I think I've become a better person. I've gained more knowledge from my faculty colleagues. I became a better teacher by listening to and observing my students. I learned humility by observing and listening to and working with the campus support staff, clerical, food service, and maintenance personnel. Often I would tell my students, don't give up on people because people can change. Some will not, but many will change. However, I was greatly disturbed by a recent article which asked, why are all the black kids sitting together in the back of the cafeteria? Well, before the pandemic, my wife and I often visited UNO's cafeteria, but we didn't see all the black kids sitting in the back here. To the contrary, I watched diversity in action. Students of all races and backgrounds, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, all sitting and interacting together throughout the cafeteria. If Grandma would return, but she won't. She's having such a great time in heaven. But if she did return, she would no longer see a white-sounding cafeteria in a white university. Today, Grandma would see a more gender, racially, and culturally diverse university, where students of all races, genders, religions, and culture are represented across the campus in student government, athletics, social, and service groups. Grandma would be so pleased that since her death, as a result of the Civil Rights Revolution, more progressive voting laws were passed. Consequently, we elected women, African American, Hispanic, and Asian Americans to Congress. We elected a woman governor and numerous black mayors, men and women. Gender equity is reflected in the city, parish, and state governments across the state. And not only had we the audacity to hope for it, but we elected a black man as president and a black woman as vice president. But Grandma would also be alarmed and saddened by a rash of new voter suppression proposals and the disturbing resurgence of violent hate groups. So as I close, I challenge each of you, whether you're at the beginning, a midpoint, or near the end of your careers, which memories will linger on when your years at UNO are gone? I urge you to use your experiences here at UNO as a template in racial, gender, and cultural diversity and tolerance. Don't forget it when you leave, but bring it with you to the larger society, which unfortunately is becoming much less diverse and much more separate and so much more intolerant. Don't laugh at bigoted jokes. Don't go along with hateful speech targeted against any particular individual or group. Please, take a stand for a more inclusive and tolerant society. Please, take a stand against voter suppression. Please, take a stand against hate group resurgence. Please, take a stand, even if you don't think you stand alone. But if you won't be alone, if you stand, you find others standing with you. Do this is guaranteed to keep you true to the silver and blue. Class of 2021, whether you're here today in person or watching virtually, congratulations. Godspeed for the future. I salute each of you, baccalaureates, masters, doctors. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Casimir, for your poignant and inspiring remarks. Let's give him another round of applause. He's quite likely watching us virtually. So we've now come to the section of the program for which I think you've all been waiting, the conferral of degrees. I'll now ask Dr. Mayra Amuzagar, Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, to come forward for the presentation of the candidates for degrees.
Thank you. But are we on? Okay, good. Now, finally, thank you, President Nicola. It's my honor and privilege to present to you the graduate students, starting with our doctoral candidates. Ladies and gentlemen, doctoral work is characterized by close mentoring of each student by a faculty member. It is this unique relationship that provides a foundation for innovative and original research and scholarly work. These candidates are not just our students, but they are colleagues and research partners. For these reasons, a process of awarding a doctoral degree includes a ritual in which the mentor places a ceremonial hood onto the student, thus initiating him or her into the rarefied community of experts. Due to the COVID restrictions, our doctoral candidates received their hoods in advance of the ceremony and are wearing them proudly as they accept the degrees. Now, the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, please rise. President Niccolo, these candidates have completed all the requirements and demonstrated the originality and excellence appropriate to the highest degree the university bestows. I'm pleased to present them to you for the conferring of the degrees.
With the recommendations of the graduate faculty, the Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, and by the authority vested in me by the University of Louisiana System Board of Supervisors, I confer upon each of you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, with all the privileges and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Congratulations. Please come forward to the platform as your name is read.
Jennifer Lawrence Dumas, Doctor of Philosophy and Political Science, dissertation, Gender Inequality and Terrorism, the Impacts of Female Empowerment on Domestic and Transnational Terrorism, Major Professor Michael Yulshoff. Ebony Brown Blackwell, Doctor of Philosophy and Educational Administration, dissertation, Taking Up Space, a phenomenological study of the shared experiences of Black women in STEM graduate programs at predominantly white institutions, Major Professor Christopher Broadhurst. Joy Ballard, Doctor of Philosophy and Political Science, dissertation, Victims to Victors, Women Reclaiming Conflict Management in Sub-Saharan Africa, Major Professor Michael Yulshov. Anthony Ray Austin, Doctor of Philosophy and Educational Administration, dissertation, African American undergraduate males' perceptions of the factors that influence their decision to join a predominantly white social Greek fraternity. Major Professor Brian Beabout. Hamed Abdul Majid, Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering and Applied Sciences, Mechanical Engineering. Dissertation, investigation of two-phase flow phenomena in rotating paper dryer to achieve effective heat transfer with low energy consumption. Major Professor Ting Wang. Jumana Hamdi, Doctor of Philosophy and Chemistry. Dissertation, the synthesis of heterogeneous catalysts, transition metal at Halloy site, and applications in organic transformations. Major Professor Mark Trudell. Lindsay Carrigy, Doctor of Philosophy in Integrative Biology. Dissertation, characterizing the function of lyases involved in the biosynthesis of physoescerin 1 and 2 from marine Synococcus cyanobacteria. Major Professor Wendy Schluchter. Shivang Srivastava, Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering and Applied Sciences, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering. Dissertation, numerical study on oscillating flow over a flat plate using pseudo-compressibility in intermittent turbulent regime. Major Professor Kazim Azukula. Monica Bandele, Doctor of Philosophy in Integrative Biology. Dissertation, a study on the regulation of mitochondrial biogenesis and gluconeogenesis in S. cerevisiae. Major Professor Zhengchang Lu. Dame Adie Murray, Doctor of Philosophy and Applied Psychology. Dissertation, the role of hearing loss in physiological and psychological stress and attention in children and adolescents with chromosome 22q11.2 deletion syndrome. Major Professor Elliot Beaton. Kiran Padel, Doctor of Philosophy and Financial Economics. Dissertation, innovation, firm life cycle, and the dividend payout scale effects on ETF performance. Major Professor Tarun Mukherjee. Mohammed Saidul Karim, Doctor of Philosophy and Financial Economics. Dissertation, mapping the impacts of political risk in corporate finance, a firm-level diversification and debt maturity perspective. Major Professor Mohammed Kabir Hassan. Karen Ann Favorite, Doctor of Philosophy in Educational Administration. Dissertation, essential instructional leadership behaviors in high-performing, economically disadvantaged schools. Potential content for site-based leader professional development major. Professor Brian Beabout. Carlos Gooden, Doctor of Philosophy in Educational Administration. Dissertation, a quantitative case study on policy and access at an urban public university. Major Professor Christopher Broadhurst. Gina Barris Holland, Doctor of Philosophy and Political Science. Dissertation, Just a Girl in a Man's World. Factors affecting women in leadership in law enforcement. Major Professor Christine Day. Tanya W. Horton, Doctor of Philosophy and Educational Administration, dissertation, The Career Advancement Narratives of Black Women Presidents of Historically Black Colleges and Universities, Major Professor Christopher Broadhurst. Kevin McLean, Doctor of Philosophy and Educational Administration, dissertation, Get Rich or Die Tryin', Media and Black Male Academic Identity Development, Major Professor Christopher Broadhurst. Kevin Wayne Nanny, Doctor of Philosophy and Educational Administration, dissertation, an analysis of the impact of a social-emotional learning program on transient students' competencies and perceptions of school climate, Major Professor Christopher Broadhurst. Shannon Strother, Doctor of Philosophy and Urban Studies, dissertation, The Impact of Forced Displacement on Social Capital in Texas, Major Professor David Gladstone. Deborah L. Toscano, Doctor of Philosophy and Political Science, dissertation, The Federalist Society and Constitutional Interpretation, Who Gets to Say What the Constitution Says, Major Professor Salman Shomari.
Congratulations again to our doctoral candidates. Let's give them a round of applause. Please be seated.
Now, will the candidates for the degrees of Master of Fine Arts, Master of Arts, Master of Arts in Teaching, Master of Education, Master of Music, Master of Public Administration, Master of Urban and Regional Planning, Master of Business Administration, Master of Science, Master of Science Engineering Management, and Master of Science Engineering Sciences, please stand. President Nicola, each of these candidates has fulfilled the requirements for the graduate degree indicated in the program. It gives me great pleasure to present them to you for the conferring of the degrees.
With the recommendations of the graduate faculty, the Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, and by the authority vested in me by the University of Louisiana System Board of Supervisors, I confer upon each of you the recommended master's degree with all the privileges and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Congratulations. Please be seated, and as directed by the Marshal, please come forward to the platform to receive your diploma.
College of Business Administration, Master of Business Administration, Ibrahim Sadi Al-Sarawi. Shelby Booth. Matthew Bowman. Elise Burke. Madeline Drake. Joanna Nicole Ducre. Luke Alexander Dias. Ashley Helen Irvin. Baron Kenneth LeBranch Jr. Hermione Patsiliokis Levitis. Lauren Livermore. Tung Van Mai. Samantha Nell Rose Miller. Hai Win. Kennedy Angele St. Charles. Keep walking. Ira Rodriguez Tony Sr. Andrew Waldron. Myra Nicole Wilson. Alicia Ann Armstrong. Master of Science in Healthcare Management, Berlin Abraham. Jennifer Bashman. Alicia Brown Wilson. David Gow. Finn Ware Connor Casey. Amy Elizabeth Caesar. Yadira Cruz. Cortland Nicole Goudot. Dahlia Danielle. You can go, you can go, you can go. Hannah Marie Ferguson. Melanie Elaine King. She didn't have it. She left it at her seat. Jessica Lynn Jones. Rosina A. Hossein. Mariam Khan. Brianna Canoopel. Emily Leonard. Deanna Kashapova Lindley. Belinda Blue Lowton. Eleonora Geneva. Kyle Maynard. Tiffany Wynn. Trang Nguyen. Joshua O'Rear. Keyshawn Shanae Patterson. Maria Payson. Nicole Antoinette Rigard. Amy Liu Shook. Krathika Santhil. Bradley Lewis Smith. That guy, there we go. Brendan Lewis Smith. Jackson Garrett Smith. Tracy Limburg Smith. Assad Sendi. Reagan Taylor. Lashana Wynn. Yi Zhang. College of Liberal Arts, Education and Human Development, Master of Fine Arts. This is a terminal degree. Michelle Catherine Bourgeois. Hillary Elizabeth Duga. Chanel Etienne. Teresa Lillian Jacobson. Danielle James. Allison Langhoff. Melina Martinovich. Barbara Joanna Mileto. Robert Morgan. Leah Myers. Kirsten Renault. Becky Retz. Emma Seeley. Jane Marie Tardo. Marissa Zeno. Okay. Master of Arts, Hannah Elakani. Christian Frost. You get a card? You get a card? Richard Gary Ulysses Brunies. Go ahead. John Curtis Creed Jr. Samantha DeLuz. Melanie S. Gomond. Haley Heil. Anna Maria Joachim. Adam Ross LeBlanc. Joseph Julian Ledesma III. Dana Logsden. Kaylee McCarthy. Jamie Overton. Janine Pasigli. Sydney Ellen Prohaska. Madeline Roach. Terry Renee Rushing. Shayla Staley. Meryl Stieg. Jessica May Strawn. Christine Marie Tured. Jean-Philippe Vauchel. Master of Arts in Teaching, Sarah Batty Bayhan. Hannah DeFelice. Megan Edwards. Megan O'Neill Mosin. Emily Frederick Niehaus. Kayla Romero Crescione. Yana Uvarova. Master of Education, Felix Caserta Jr. Juanita Cheatham. Brittany Lynn Field. Colin Foray. Kendall Damon George. Denaire M. Clark. Craig Hoat. Nihad Nabil Kased. Monicia Moody Johnson. Tracy Leah Thomas. Tracy Jones Trimble. Brittany Y. Williams. Master of Music, Andres Hernandez. Jacob Oren Noble. Brian Edward Wingard. Master of Public Administration, Melissa Inez Garcia. Heather Melissa Glass. Kirsty Alexandra Giles. Benjamin Quimby. Master of Science, Alejandro Flores. Courtney Russo. Master of Urban and Regional Planning, Allison Hartling. Ryan Paul Johnson. College of Engineering, Master of Science in Engineering, Adam Nicholas Bacon. Bikram Bandari. Patrick Crutchfield. Gayatri Lakamsetti. Shaylin Moore. Murtada Musa. Abdullah Naeem. Jason Young Ryu. Master of Science in Engineering Management, Ini Abasatai. Anson Du. Vincent Charles Orlando. Jamal Nadir Ozaral. Mohammed Mahuddin Saqib. Now Safran Sattar. College of Sciences, Master of Science, Nihal Amin. Sekar Shalise. Isabel Cuvion. Jocelyn Noling. Maître Claire Maneb de Macedo. Stephen Marcel. Anthony Marchiafava. Mohammed Hassan Masood. Christy Purley. Roz Panef. Carla del Socorro Reyes. Abhishek Sapkota. Austin B. Schmidt. Amy Nicole Sakeda. Michael Anthony Sinegar Jr. Ashta Sharma. Mariama Sumahoro. Trang Thuy Tran. Stephen Kofi Archimpon. Patrick Esteve. Stephen Kabi Kamlaje. Honorel Henry.
Let's give all of our graduates another round of applause. Congratulations. Graduates, on behalf of everyone here today, we congratulate you on your accomplishments. There is one remaining tradition for us to address. The tassel is normally worn to the right and is moved to the left to symbolize a student's transition from candidate to graduate. So with the vocal support of everybody here in the audience, please move your tassel and let's congratulate our graduates. And now that you are graduates of the University of New Orleans, it is very important to maintain your relationship with your alma mater. So it is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Becky Mackey, the president of the University of New Orleans Alumni Association, to offer her congratulations.
Welcome, privateers. This is exciting for me and an honor to be here today as your Alumni Association president and address you on this special day when we celebrate your success and welcome you into the UNO alumni. Your perseverance completing your degrees during a global pandemic is inspiring. You were smart to seize the opportunities of a UNO college education. My family's benefited tremendously from a UNO education. 2 of my daughters have followed me on their own UNO adventures. We all have a college experience here to celebrate. Everyone here today has taken a unique path to get to this success, just as my daughters and I did, and I'd like to share with you a little bit about our journey. I entered UNO in 1977, but life had some detours in store for me, and it was a long 16-year path before completing my degree in 1993. It was UNO's new Metro College that allowed me to take courses at night and on the weekend, finishing that 16-year journey. Now my daughter Sarah followed me, and she completed her journey in about 8 years. She had her own detours, including Hurricane Katrina. Sarah was of the first generation, 4.5 million college students across the United States to complete a college degree in part with online courses. Now my youngest daughter Andrea, she beat us all, finishing her degree in just 5 years, which President Nick Lau tells me today happens to be the new norm. Andrea graduated in December 2019, just before the pandemic forced all your classes to go online. 3 women in our family, each with a unique commuter college experience. UNO changed with the times to help make our success possible. Now the family legacy continues, and my granddaughter Jade is a sophomore here at UNO today. This next generation of students are also benefiting from a resilient and adaptable UNO their educational experience now with all their courses, just as you completed your college experience going online. Now, I've challenged Jade to continue the family trend, beat Andrea's number, and finish her degree in 4 years. But whether your time here at UNO was long or short, you worked hard and you've crossed the finish line. I suspect UNO's ability to adapt to be what you needed it to be helped you to succeed. Congratulations, class of 2021. Let's hear it for you and UNO.
Thank you, Ms. Mackey. Graduates, again, your university is as proud of you as your family and friends. And I hope you will indeed stay in touch with your alma mater. Keep us informed of your personal and professional journey through the UNO Alumni Association. We are here to support you today and in the future. So I'd like to thank for a minute everybody who had a role in help organizing today's events, from the Office of the Registrar, student ambassadors, the arena staff, and so many others who helped us put this together, as well as all of you who participated today in our ceremony. We would ask our audience members as you exit the arena to please wear your masks and keep 6 feet from those who are not members of your own household. Graduates, please remain seated until dismissed by your marshals. And graduates, I look forward to seeing you again soon. Once again, congratulations, privateers.
it's a song. I want to fill the air, yeah, giving you all my understanding. Take my sweet, tender love and care. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Be my lady, be my baby, be my lady. Drive me crazy, be my sweetness, my